Well, we have another Social Security update that we need to get to because the Social Security Administration has now backtracked on a major change that they announced just a short while ago. And I'll address this in today's video. We're also going to talk about the potential cut that is coming, and I want to warn you that most people do not know as much about Social Security as they think they do, and that is part of the problem. So we're going to get to all this in just a moment, but first, before we do, all I ask is one thing. Takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates, and now let's begin. So look at this right here. It says most Americans think they know Social Security according to AARP, but here's what they get wrong. Now, there are many things that people are getting wrong regarding Social Security. First off, where the money comes from, how it's paid out, what does insolvency really mean, and is there a real chance we see increases to the Social Security benefits that you receive every single month? The answer is yes. 100% chance we are going to see an increase. But what is that increase going to look like? It's going to come from the cost of living adjustment that is calculated on the third quarter of the previous calendar year. Meaning your cost of living adjustment for 2026 will be determined based off the third quarter of 2025 and the inflation rate. Now I want to show you something. I want to read this to you. It says right here, a majority of Americans, 74%, say they are somewhat or very informed about how Social Security works. I can tell you right now, that number is not right. There are less people that are informed about Social Security. It says almost all respondents, 96%, say Social Security is important. It also goes on to say, even with Social Security's popularity, confidence in the future of the program has dropped 7 points in the past 5 years to 36% in 2025, down from 43% in 2020. Now, a lot of people are very concerned about Social Security for many reasons. Number one, Social Security is going to become insolvent by 2034. That's at the latest. The expectation is that's actually going to speed up to about 2033, if not 2032. But here's the issue, okay? And this is where things are becoming a little more concerning. It says more than 3/4 of AARP survey respondents, 78%, worry Social Security won't provide enough to live on retirement. And here's the issue. It says, meanwhile, the number of people collecting Social Security is expected to grow to 82 million by 2035. We currently have over 70 million people receiving benefits. So within the next 10 years, we are going to see an additional 12 million people start to receive benefits. That's concerning. That is extremely concerning. And one of the reasons why I say this is concerning, number one, because we already don't make enough. We don't bring in enough tax revenue to fund Social Security payments. That's why it's going to become insolvent. But one of the big issues is that we are now seeing the Social Security Administration going after people that have received overpayments. And these are overpayments that they've received either because of a mistake on their end or a mistake on the SSA's end. But the concern is that people are now having to pay back tens of thousands of dollars in payments that they've been receiving for the past 5, 10, 15 years. And that right there, for many, is not possible. It's not doable. But look at this, okay? This is something that the Social Security Administration first said, that they were going to cut back on paper checks. Well, look what they announced just yesterday. It says the Social Security retreats from plan to eliminate paper checks for beneficiaries. And this is something that I called out when they first announced it about a month ago, because the paper checks were going to end on September 30th of 2025. Well, there was a lot of people that wrote into a lot of their representatives and said this isn't something that we can do. A lot of people were talking about this and said it's a problem because we are unbanked, or many people don't even have a bank account. Okay? They don't have access to it for whatever reason. So the problem here is the Social Security Administration trying to make sure every single person is getting automatic payments, it just doesn't work. Well, I want to read this to you. It says the Social Security Administration said it will continue issuing paper checks to the retirement program's beneficiaries, backing away from a previously announced plan to switch all payments to electronic deposits after September 30th. It says right here, on Wednesday, the Social Security Administration told CBS Money Watch it would continue issuing paper checks for beneficiaries, including recipients of retirement and disability benefits who have no other means of getting payments. But the program will also emphasize the advantages of electronic transfers to its roughly 70 million beneficiaries. The goal is to get everybody on an electronic payment system. By doing so, it reduces the cost of the Social Security Administration and it makes payments a little more efficient. That's what the Trump administration is trying to do. The only problem here is that there's still a lot of people that don't get their don't have a bank account or don't trust banks, so they don't want anything to do with it. But look at this right here. It says there are about 600,000 Americans who still receive their paper checks. It's a small fraction of people who receive Social Security payments, but it's a population that often needs checks through paper. Okay, not electronic deposit or one of the things they said before is we could potentially put it on a debit card or something like that, but some people don't trust debit cards. They just don't trust banks, and I get it. Look at this right here. Here's another big update. This is just from today as well. This is from the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget. It says retirees face an $18,100 benefit cut in 7 years. I want to read this to you. It says the Social Security and Medicare trust funds are only a little more than 7 years from insolvency based on projections from the program's own trustees in combination with our estimates of the impact of the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. It says the law dictates that when the trust funds deplete their reserves, payments are limited to incoming revenues. For the Social Security retirement program, we estimate that means a 24% benefit cut in late 2032 after the enactment of the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. And I said this before. I said before it was going to be a 21 to 23% cut. And it was going to happen sometime in 2032 or 2033. They're projecting 2032 is when it's going to happen. It says, we estimate that this would be equal to an $18,100 annual benefit cut for a dual earning couple retiring at the start of 2033, shortly after the trust fund insolvency. Okay, that right there should be scary. To see a 24% cut in 7 years. That's going to devastate millions of people. Millions and millions of people are not going to be able to afford their life today. And people that are going to retire in 2033 and get benefits then, let's say it's a couple, an $18,100 annual benefit cut, that's huge. That's huge for most people. $18,000 a year that you're losing out on, that's a massive reduction. So I just wanted to share this with you because, again, we are seeing the SSA backtrack on the paper check thing, but are they doing anything to ensure that the Social Security Trust Fund doesn't become insolvent? Well, not at this time. And again, that's part of the problem.